Welcome to Speak English Confident. I'm Nora, and I'm really happy you're here with us today. If you are learning English, you probably know this feeling. You understand English, you know many words, but when you start a conversation, suddenly your mind becomes quiet. You say one sentence, maybe two, and then your brain says, "Okay, I'm done." Today, we're going to talk about something very real and very important: how to keep a conversation going in English even when you feel stuck. Because speaking English is not only about vocabulary or grammar, it's about connection. It's about continuing the moment. And of course, I'm not alone here today. Miles is here with us.
Hi, everyone. I'm really glad we're talking about this today, because honestly, this happens to me all the time.
Tell us what happens.
Okay, so imagine this. Someone talks to me in English, maybe at work, maybe when I travel. The conversation starts well. They say something like, "How was your weekend?" And I answer, "My weekend was good. I went to the park." And then my brain freezes. I don't know what to say next, and the silence becomes awkward.
Yes, that moment. Many English learners know this moment very well. It's not that you don't understand English. It's not that you don't know words. The real problem is something else. You don't know how to continue the conversation.
Exactly. And sometimes I feel pressure because the other person is waiting. So I start thinking too much. Should I ask a question? What question? Is my grammar correct? And then I say nothing.
First, let me say something very important. This experience is completely normal. Even native speakers sometimes feel this. Conversation is a skill, and like every skill, it becomes easier with practice. But here is the good news. You do not need perfect English to keep a conversation going. You only need a few simple tools. And today, we will practice those tools together.
That sounds good already, because sometimes I think I need to know many interesting things to say.
No, you don't need to be interesting. You only need to be curious.
Curious.
Yes, conversation becomes easy when you show interest in the other person. And the easiest way to show interest is very simple. Ask small questions.
Ah, so instead of stopping after my sentence, I add a question.
Exactly. Let's look at your example again. Someone asks you, "How was your weekend?" You answered, "My weekend was good. I went to the park." That is a good answer, but the conversation stopped.
Yes, that's where the silence happens.
Now, let's try a small change. Listen to this version. My weekend was good. I went to the park. It was really relaxing. How about you? Do you hear the difference?
Yes, you returned the question.
Exactly. How about you is one of the most powerful phrases in English conversation. It keeps the conversation moving naturally.
That feels simple.
It is simple, and simple is powerful. Let's practice a few more examples. Imagine someone says, "I had a busy weekend. I worked a lot."
Okay.
A common learner response might be, "Oh, I see." And then silence.
Yes, that sounds like me.
Now, listen to this instead. "Oh, really? What kind of work did you do?"
That sounds much more natural.
Yes, you didn't say something long. You didn't use difficult vocabulary. You simply showed interest. And this is the secret of conversation. Interest creates energy.
That's interesting, because sometimes I think conversations require long answers.
Actually, conversations grow from small steps: short answers, small questions, simple reactions. Let's explore another real-life situation. Imagine you're meeting someone new, maybe a coworker, maybe a classmate. They say, "Nice to meet you."
Okay.
You say, "Nice to meet you too." And then silence again.
Yes, that happens.
Now, let's add something simple. "Nice to meet you too. Are you new here?"
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, because now the other person can talk. And when they talk, the conversation continues.
I see a pattern here.
Tell me.
Good conversations are not about saying many things. They're about helping the other person speak.
Exactly. That is a wonderful insight. When learners feel pressure, they think, "I must say something smart." But relaxed speakers think, "I'll help the conversation move."
That feels much easier.
Good. Now, let's talk about another problem learners face. Sometimes the other person finishes speaking and you don't understand everything.
Yes, that makes me panic.
Let's imagine this situation. A coworker says something fast like, "I went hiking with my friends this weekend and the weather was amazing." Maybe you understood some words, maybe not everything. Many learners stay silent because they feel embarrassed.
Yes. I think if I ask again, maybe it's annoying.
But here's the truth. In real conversation, people ask for clarification all the time. It is completely normal. Here are some simple phrases you can use. "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or, "Sorry, I didn't catch that."
That sounds polite.
Yes, and after they repeat, you can continue. For example, "Oh, nice. Where did you go hiking?"
That I like, because it turns confusion into conversation.
Exactly. Language learning becomes easier when you accept small imperfections. You don't need to understand everything. You only need to keep the conversation alive.
I feel like that's the real skill.
It is. Now, let's try a small practice together. Imagine someone says, "I just watched a really good movie."
Okay.
What could you say?
Maybe. Oh, really? What movie was it?
Perfect. Very natural. Now imagine they answer, "It's a science fiction movie about space travel." What could you say next?
Hmm. Maybe. That sounds interesting. Do you like science fiction?
That is excellent. Do you see what you're doing?
Yes. I'm using questions to move the conversation.
Exactly. You are building a conversation ladder. Each question is another step.
I like that image. A conversation ladder.
Yes, and the ladder grows naturally. Let's continue the example. They answer, "Yes, I love science fiction movies." Now what?
Maybe. Do you have a favorite one?
Perfect again,
This actually feels fun.
because conversation is a game of curiosity. And when learners understand this, something amazing happens. Their confidence grows.
I can already feel something changing. Before, I thought conversations were like tests. Now they feel more like exploration.
That's a beautiful way to say it. And there is another important skill, reacting emotionally.
Emotionally.
Yes, when someone tells you something, show a reaction. For example, "That sounds fun." "That's interesting." "Oh, wow." "No way." "That must be exciting."
Ah, like small emotional responses.
Exactly. These responses make conversations feel alive. Without reactions, conversations feel cold.
That explains something. Sometimes I answer questions, but people stop talking quickly.
Because the conversation needs warmth. Let's practice a quick example. I'll say a sentence, you react. Ready?
Ready?
"I'm traveling to Japan next month."
Oh, wow, that sounds amazing.
Very good. Now add a question.
Oh, wow, that sounds amazing. Have you been there before?
Perfect. You just created a natural conversation flow.
This actually feels easier than I expected.
Because we are focusing on simple human communication, not perfect English. And as we continue talking today, we're going to explore more real-life situations. Situations like talking with coworkers, meeting new people, and those small everyday conversations that sometimes feel difficult.
I'm excited for that, because small talk is still scary for me.
To me, many learners feel the same. But little by little, with practice and curiosity, small talk becomes comfortable, and comfortable conversations build confident speakers. Let's continue with another real-life moment that many learners experience. You're standing with someone, maybe at work, maybe at a social.
You know, Nora, when you described that silence moment, I felt it immediately, because I've experienced it many times. You're talking with someone, the conversation is going okay, and then suddenly everything stops. Nobody knows what to say, and both people are just standing there.
Yes, that moment can feel uncomfortable, especially for English learners. You might start thinking, did I say something wrong? Do they feel bored? Should I say something else? But actually, pauses happen in every language. Even native speakers experience them. The difference is that confident speakers know how to restart the conversation.
So it's like pressing a restart button.
Exactly. And the restart button is often something very simple. For example, you can comment on the environment. Let's imagine this situation. You are at a small office gathering. You are talking with a coworker. The conversation stops. You look around. You could say something like, "This place is really nice."
Oh, that's easy.
Yes. And the other person might respond, "Yeah, I like it too." Then you can continue. "Have you been here before?"
So you use the environment to start another topic.
Exactly. This is a powerful conversation strategy. Look around you. Use what you see.
Let me try another one. Maybe if we're at a cafe,
Good example.
I could say, "This coffee smells really good."
Perfect. And then the other person might say, "Yes, their coffee is great." And you can ask, "Do you come here often?"
That sounds like a movie line.
Yes, it does. But it works because it invites the other person to share something. And when people share their experiences, conversations grow.
I see something interesting here. You don't need a perfect topic. You only need a small observation.
Exactly. Conversation often begins with very ordinary things: the weather, the place, food, music, daily life.
That reminds me of something. Sometimes people talk about the weather, and I used to think that's boring.
Many learners think that, but weather talk has a purpose. It creates comfort. Let's imagine this moment. You enter an office. A coworker says, "It's really hot today."
Yes, I've heard that many times.
A short response could be, "Yes, it is," but that ends quickly. Now listen to this. "Yes, it is. It feels much hotter than yesterday."
Ah, you added a little more.
Exactly. And then the coworker might say, "Yes, yesterday was much cooler." Now you can continue. "I hope it rains later."
Now it's a real conversation.
Yes, small additions create flow. Think of it like passing a ball back and forth. If you only catch the ball and stop, the game ends.
That's a great image. Conversation tennis.
Yes, exactly. Now let's talk about another situation learners often face. You meet someone new, and after introductions, the conversation becomes quiet.
Yes, that's very common.
One simple strategy is the question circle.
Question circle.
Yes, there are a few safe topics that work almost everywhere: work, hobbies, travel, food, daily routines. If one topic ends, you gently move to another.
Can we try an example?
Of course. Imagine you meet someone at a language class. You already said, "Nice to meet you." You asked, "Are you new here?" They answered, "Yes, I started last week." Now you could say, "Oh, nice. What made you decide to learn English?"
That's a good question.
And maybe they say, "I want to travel more." Now you can move into travel. "That's great. Where would you like to go?"
I see the circle now.
Exactly. From language to travel to experiences. And maybe they answer, "I want to visit Italy." Now you can say, "Oh, wow, Italy looks beautiful. Do you like Italian food?"
Now we're talking about food.
Yes, and food is one of the easiest conversation topics in the world.
Because everyone eats.
Exactly. You can ask things like, "What's your favorite food? Do you like cooking? Have you tried this restaurant?"
That actually feels very natural.
Because it is natural. Good conversations often move through everyday topics, nothing complicated.
I think learners sometimes feel pressure to sound intelligent.
Yes, but conversation is not an exam. It's a connection between two people.
That idea really helps.
Good. Now let's explore another moment learners often worry about. Sometimes you feel like you are talking too much.
Oh, yes. I've had that feeling before.
Maybe you start telling a story. You talk for a while, then suddenly you think, "Oh no, am I talking too much?"
Exactly. And then I stop suddenly.
Here is a very natural way to handle that. You invite the other person into the story. For example, "I went hiking last weekend. The view was amazing." Then you add, "Do you like hiking?"
Oh, that's nice.
You shared something about yourself, and then you open space for them.
So the conversation becomes balanced.
Exactly. Balanced conversations feel comfortable.
Can we try another story example?
Of course. Let's imagine this one. You say, "I tried cooking Thai food for the first time yesterday."
Okay.
Then you add, "It was actually harder than I expected."
That sounds realistic.
And then you ask, "Do you enjoy cooking?"
That keeps the conversation alive.
Yes. Now let's practice something important. Follow-up questions.
Follow-up questions.
Yes, these are questions connected to what the other person just said. They show that you are really listening. Let's imagine someone says, "I started learning English 2 years ago." What could you ask?
Maybe, why did you start learning English?
Good. That's one option. Another could be, "Was it difficult at the beginning?"
Oh, that's good too.
Or even, "Do you enjoy learning it?"
So there are many possible questions.
Exactly. And you don't need the perfect question. You only need a small curiosity.
I think curiosity is becoming the key word today.
Yes, curiosity is the engine of conversation. Now let's explore a slightly different situation. Imagine you are talking with someone and suddenly they tell you something surprising. For example, "I just moved here last week."
Oh, that is surprising.
What could you respond?
Maybe, oh really? Where did you move from?
Perfect. That is a very natural reaction. And if they say, "I moved from Brazil," what next?
How do you like it here so far?
Excellent. You're doing great with this.
I feel like a conversation puzzle.
Yes, and the more you practice, the easier the puzzle becomes.
I also noticed something. Your questions are usually short.
That's intentional. Short questions are easier for both people. They sound relaxed and natural.
That makes sense.
Now let's practice another skill, echo responses.
Echo.
Yes, you repeat a small part of what the person said. This shows interest and keeps the conversation flowing. Example, someone says, "I just got a new job." You could say, "A new job? That's exciting."
Oh, I like that.
Then you add a question. "What kind of work will you do?"
So the echo shows you're listening.
Exactly. It's a powerful listening signal.
Let me try. If someone says, I'm planning a trip to Spain, I could say, a trip to Spain? That sounds amazing. Then, when are you going?
Perfect. You see how natural that sounds?
Yes, and it doesn't require complicated English.
That's the beauty of conversation skills. They rely on simple language used well. But there is another situation learners often worry about, and that is when the conversation becomes quiet again.
The silence returns.
Yes, and this is where many learners feel nervous, but silence doesn't mean the conversation is over. Sometimes people are just thinking. Sometimes they're relaxing in the moment.
That's comforting to hear.
Still, if you want to restart the conversation, you can use something we call topic bridges.
Topic bridges.
Yes, small phrases that move the conversation to a new topic. For example, by the way.
Ah, I hear that often.
Yes, you could say, by the way, have you watched any good movies recently?
That feels very natural.
Or, by the way, do you like traveling?
So it gently introduces something new.
Exactly. It's like opening another door in the conversation.
I really like that idea because sometimes I feel stuck in one topic.
And bridges help you move forward. Another bridge phrase is, speaking of that.
How would that work?
Imagine someone says, I love Italian food. You could respond, speaking of Italian food, have you ever been to Italy?
Oh, that's smooth.
Yes, these small phrases make conversations feel natural and connected.
I'm starting to see conversations in a completely different way.
That's wonderful, because once you understand these patterns, English conversations become much less stressful. But there is one more important thing we should talk about, and that is the feeling many learners have when they think, I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing.
Yes, that fear can stop you from speaking at all.
Exactly, and that's something we're going to explore together as our conversation continues.
That fear you mentioned, I know it very well. Sometimes I want to say something in English, but I stop myself because I'm thinking, what if my grammar is wrong? What if I choose the wrong word? What if the other person doesn't understand me? And then I decide it's safer to stay quiet.
That feeling is very common among English learners, and it comes from a very natural desire. You want to speak correctly. You want to sound clear and intelligent. But here is something important to remember. Conversation is not about perfect sentences. It is about shared understanding.
Shared understanding.
Yes, if the other person understands your idea, then communication has succeeded, even if your grammar is not perfect.
That's reassuring. But sometimes I still worry that mistakes will make the conversation uncomfortable.
Let's look at that fear more closely. Imagine you say something like, I go to the beach yesterday. The grammar is not perfect, but do you understand the meaning?
Yes, I do. You went to the beach yesterday.
Exactly. Communication still worked.
So the message is more important than the grammar.
Very often, yes. And something interesting happens in real conversations. Most people are not analyzing your grammar. They are simply listening to your story.
That's true. When I talk to someone, I don't think about their grammar.
Exactly. People are focused on meaning. They want to know your experience, your opinion, your story.
That makes speaking feel less scary.
Good. Now let's talk about something that can help you when you feel nervous, buying time while you think.
Ah, that sounds useful, because sometimes I need a moment to organize my thoughts.
Exactly. In English conversation, people often use small phrases to create thinking space. For example,
Yes, I hear that often.
or let me think.
That sounds natural.
You can also say, that's a good question.
Oh, I like that one.
Let's imagine someone asks you, why did you decide to learn English? Maybe you don't have an immediate answer. You could say, that's a good question. Let me think for a second. Then continue. I think it's because I want to travel more.
That really helps the conversation feel relaxed.
Yes, these phrases show that you were thinking, not struggling.
It changes the feeling of the moment.
Exactly. Now let's explore another real-life moment. Sometimes the other person asks you a question and you give a short answer, but the conversation stops again.
Yes, that happens often.
The trick is simple. After answering, return the question.
Like earlier with, how about you?
Exactly. Let's practice. Imagine someone asks, "Do you like traveling?"
I might say, yes, I really enjoy traveling.
Good. Now continue.
Hmm. How about you?
Perfect. Now the conversation continues.
That strategy is really powerful.
Yes, it shows interest and keeps the conversation balanced. Now let's practice a slightly longer example. Someone asks you, "What do you usually do on weekends?"
Okay.
Try answering.
Hmm. On weekends, I usually relax. Sometimes I watch movies or go for a walk.
That's a good answer. Now continue the conversation.
Hmm. Maybe, what about you? What do you like to do?
Excellent. You see how simple that is?
Yes. Before, I thought I needed long answers, but short answers plus questions work better.
Exactly. Conversation is rhythm. Answer, ask, react, ask again.
Like music.
Yes, a conversation has rhythm just like music. Now let's talk about another challenge. Sometimes the other person shares something personal. For example, "I just started a new job."
Okay.
In moments like this, emotional responses are very important. You could say, "That's exciting,"
Yes, that sounds natural.
or "Congratulations."
That's good too.
Then you can ask a follow-up question. "What kind of job is it?"
I see the pattern again. Reaction first, question second.
Exactly. Reaction shows empathy. Questions show curiosity.
Let me try another example.
Great. Imagine someone says, "I'm feeling a little tired today. I stayed up late working."
Hmm. Maybe I could say, oh no, that sounds exhausting.
Very good. Now continue.
Did you have a lot of work?
Perfect. That response shows you care about their situation.
I'm starting to notice something. Good conversations are very human. They're about emotions.
Exactly. Language is not just words, it's connection between people. Now let's practice another real-life scenario. You are talking with someone during a break at work. The conversation has been going well. Then they ask you, "So, what do you like to do in your free time?"
Ah, hobbies.
Yes, what would you say?
Maybe in my free time, I like listening to music and watching movies.
Good. Now let's expand it a little.
Okay. In my free time, I like listening to music and watching movies. It helps me relax.
Very nice. Now continue the conversation.
Hmm. What about you? What do you like to do?
Excellent. You see how that pattern works everywhere?
Yes. Now imagine they answer, I love hiking. Okay.
What could you say next?
Maybe, oh, nice. Where do you usually go hiking?
Perfect.
And if they say the name of a mountain or park, I could ask, is it difficult to hike there?
That's a great follow-up question.
This is starting to feel very natural.
And that's the goal. When conversation skills become natural, confidence grows automatically.
I think learners often focus too much on vocabulary.
Yes, vocabulary is important, but conversation structure is just as important.
Structure.
Yes, a simple structure could be react, share, ask.
Can you give an example?
Of course, imagine someone says, "I just finished reading a really good book." First, react. "That's great." Second, share. "I enjoy reading too." Third, ask. "What kind of book was it?"
That's a clear structure.
And it keeps the conversation moving smoothly.
Let me try. If someone says, I started learning guitar, I could say, oh, nice. I've always wanted to learn an instrument. How long have you been practicing?
That's perfect. You use the full structure.
It actually feels fun to build conversations like this.
Yes, because conversations are creative. Now let's explore another situation learners sometimes face. You are talking with someone, but suddenly you forget a word.
Oh, yes, that happens all the time.
And many learners panic in that moment, but there's a simple solution. Describe the idea instead of the word.
Ah, like explaining.
Exactly. For example, maybe you forget the word elevator. You could say, the machine that takes people up in a building.
That works.
And the other person will often help. They might say, oh, the elevator.
Then I can say, yes, that's it.
Exactly. This keeps the conversation flowing.
So forgetting a word doesn't have to stop everything.
Not at all. In fact, these moments often become friendly and relaxed.
I like that perspective.
Good. Now let's try a short role play. Imagine we just met at a language exchange event. I'll start. Ready?
Ready.
Hi, Nora. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Nora. I'm Miles. Nice to meet you too.
Is this your first time at this event?
Yes, it's my first time, actually. I wanted to practice speaking more.
That's great. What made you interested in learning English?
Well, I really enjoy traveling, and English helps me communicate in many countries. How about you? Do you enjoy language learning?
Yes, I do. I love learning how people communicate in different cultures.
That sounds really interesting.
You see how naturally the conversation flows?
Yes, and none of the sentences were complicated.
Exactly. Simple language, real curiosity, human connection. But there is another situation we should explore. Sometimes conversations become longer, and that can feel intimidating for English learners.
Yes, short conversations feel manageable, but long conversations make me nervous.
That's very understandable, but there are simple ways to handle longer conversations too, and that's something we're going to practice together next.
Long conversations really are the ones that make me nervous. Short exchanges feel manageable, like ordering coffee or greeting a coworker. But when a conversation continues for 10 minutes or even longer, I start to worry that I will run out of things to say. That's a very common feeling. Many learners feel comfortable with short interactions, but longer conversations feel like a big challenge. The good news is that long conversations are not actually one long discussion. They're usually made of many small conversations connected together. So it's like several short conversations in a row? Exactly. Think of it like walking on stepping stones. You move from one small topic to another, and each topic creates a new moment of conversation. That sounds much less intimidating. Let's imagine a realistic situation. You meet someone at a small social gathering. You introduce yourselves. Then the conversation begins. Maybe it starts like this. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? Okay. You answer, I'm from Canada. Now the conversation continues. Oh, Canada. Which city? That feels natural. Then you answer, I'm from Vancouver. And the next question might be, what is it like living there? I see. Each question opens a new small topic. Exactly. City to lifestyle to weather to culture. These small topics connect together. So the secret is not preparing one long conversation. It's learning how to move between topics. Yes, topic movement is a very useful conversation skill. Let's practice this idea together. Imagine someone asks you, what do you do for work? Okay. You answer, I work in marketing. Now the other person might say, that sounds interesting. What kind of marketing do you do? Right. You answer, I work with social media marketing. Now the conversation can move again. They might ask, do you enjoy that kind of work? That leads to another topic. Exactly. Then maybe the conversation moves again. How did you get into marketing? That's interesting. One answer creates another question. Yes, conversations grow like branches on a tree. That image helps a lot. Good. Now let's talk about something that helps long conversations feel easier, sharing small stories. Stories? Yes, stories give conversations energy. For example, instead of saying, my weekend was good, you could say, my weekend was good. I tried cooking a new recipe for the first time. That's already more interesting. Exactly. And the other person might ask, oh, really? What did you cook? Now the conversation continues naturally. Yes, stories invite questions. Let's try another example. Imagine someone asks you, have you traveled anywhere recently? Okay.
A simple answer could be, yes, I went to Thailand, but we can add a small story. Yes, I went to Thailand last month. It was my first time visiting. That makes the conversation richer. Exactly. Now the other person can ask, what did you think of it? Or, what was your favorite place? Yes, stories create many conversation doors. I like that idea. Now let's practice building a story together. I'll ask a question. Do you enjoy traveling? Yes, I do. Now expand your answer. Yes, I enjoy traveling. Last year I visited Japan and it was an amazing experience. Very good. Now add a small detail. My favorite part was visiting Kyoto. The temples were beautiful. That's excellent. Now the other person might ask, what did you like most about Kyoto? Yes, that would keep the conversation going. Exactly. Details invite curiosity. So details are important. Yes, but they don't need to be long. Just one or two small details can make a big difference. I'm realizing something. Conversations grow when we give conversation material. That's a wonderful way to describe it. Conversation material gives the other person something to respond to. Short answers don't give much material. Exactly. Now let's explore another skill that helps long conversations, agreeing and disagreeing politely. That sounds important because people often share opinions. Yes, and responding to opinions is a natural part of conversation. Imagine someone says, I think mornings are the best time of day. Okay. If you agree, you could say, I agree. I feel more energetic in the morning too. That sounds natural. Then you can add a question. Are you usually an early riser? That continues the topic. Exactly. Now let's try a polite disagreement. Imagine someone says, I prefer working late at night. Okay. If you feel differently, you could say, that's interesting. I'm actually the opposite. Oh, that's a gentle way to disagree. Yes, then you can explain. I usually feel very tired at night, so I prefer working in the morning. That keeps the conversation friendly. Exactly. Polite disagreement often creates deeper conversations because people explain their opinions. Yes, and those explanations often lead to interesting discussions. I can imagine that. Now let's practice a small role play with a longer conversation flow. Imagine we are co-workers talking during lunch. I'll start. Ready? Ready. So, how has your week been so far? It's been pretty busy, actually. I had several meetings this week. Oh, really? What kind of meetings? Mostly project planning meetings. We're starting a new project next month. That sounds exciting. What is the project about? It's about improving our company's website. That's interesting. Do you enjoy working on website projects? Yes, I do. I like working on creative tasks. How about you? What kind of work do you enjoy most? I really enjoy projects where I can solve problems. That makes sense. Now, how the conversation flows naturally. Yes, and each person keeps the conversation moving. Exactly. Both people are contributing. Now let's talk about another helpful skill, recognizing conversation signals. What do you mean by signals? Signals are clues that tell you how the other person feels. For example, if someone asks you many questions, it means they're interested. That's good to know. But if someone gives very short answers like, yes, maybe, I'm not sure, they might feel tired or distracted. So the conversation energy is lower. Exactly. In those moments, you can change the topic. How would we do that? You could say something like, by the way, have you watched any good movies recently? That brings fresh energy. Yes, topic changes can refresh conversations. That makes sense. Now let's talk about another small but powerful habit, repeating the person's name. Oh, really? Yes, using someone's name creates warmth. For example, that's a great idea, Miles. That does feel more personal. Yes, names help build connection. I'll remember that. Good. Now imagine we are at a small international event. People from different countries are talking together. These events often create longer conversations. Yes, because everyone is curious about each other. Exactly. Questions like, where are you from? What is your country like? What do you enjoy living there? Those questions can lead to very interesting conversations. Yes, and sharing culture often makes conversations lively and memorable. I can imagine talking about food, traditions, and festivals. Exactly. Those topics are wonderful for conversation. By now, we've explored many skills that help conversations grow. Asking questions, sharing stories, reacting emotionally, moving between topics. It feels like we're building a toolkit for conversations. That's exactly what we're doing, and the more tools you have, the more confident you will feel. I'm already starting to imagine using these skills in real situations. That's wonderful to hear, because confidence grows through imagination and practice. And in the next stage of our conversation together, we're going to bring all these skills together through longer role-play situations that feel very close to real life.
I like the idea of bringing everything together, because now I feel like we have many tools: questions, reactions, stories, topic bridges. But I'm curious what it looks like when all of these happen in one natural conversation.
That's a great question, and the best way to understand that is through practice. So let's imagine a real situation many learners experience. You're at a small international meetup. People are there to practice languages and meet new friends. You walk into the room, you see someone standing near the table with drinks. You decide to start a conversation.
That moment already makes my heart beat a little faster. A little laugh.
That's very normal. Starting a conversation can feel like the hardest part. But remember something simple. You don't need the perfect sentence. You only need a friendly opening. Something like, "Hi, is this your first time here?"
That sounds natural. Okay, let's try the role play.
Great. I'll start as the other person. "Hi there."
Hi, is this your first time at this meetup?
"Yes, it is actually. I just moved to the city last month."
Oh, really? Welcome to the city. Where did you move from?
"I moved here from Spain."
From Spain. That's amazing. Which part of Spain are you from?
"I'm from Valencia."
Oh, I've heard Valencia is beautiful. Do you miss living there?
"Yes, sometimes, especially the food."
I can understand that. What kind of food do you miss the most?
"Probably paella. It's very famous in Valencia."
That sounds delicious. Do you like cooking it yourself?
"Sometimes, but it takes a lot of time."
I've always wanted to try making it. Do you enjoy cooking in general?
"Yes, I do. Cooking relaxes me."
That's nice. I feel the same way about cooking. It helps me relax after work. What kind of work do you do?
"I work as a graphic designer."
That sounds creative. Do you work for a company or are you freelance?
"I work for a small design studio."
That must be interesting. What kind of projects do you usually work on?
"Mostly branding and website design."
That's really cool. I've always been interested in design, but I'm not very artistic. A little laugh.
You see how naturally that conversation flows?
Yes, and I noticed something. The conversation moved through many topics.
Exactly. Let's look at the path. Meeting, city, Spain, food, cooking, work, interests.
That's a lot of topics, but it didn't feel forced.
Because each topic grew naturally from the previous one.
I think that's the biggest lesson for me. Conversations don't need to be planned. They grow step by step.
Yes, and curiosity guides the direction. Now, let's imagine another everyday situation. You're talking with a coworker during a coffee break.
Okay,
I'll start. "Hey, Miles, how's your day going?"
it's going well, thanks. Just a little busy.
"Oh, really? What have you been working on today?"
I've been preparing a presentation for next week.
"That sounds important. What is the presentation about?"
It's about improving our customer service process.
"That's interesting. Do you enjoy giving presentations?"
Sometimes I feel a little nervous before I start, little laugh. But once I begin speaking, it becomes easier.
I feel the same way. The beginning is always the hardest part.
Yes, exactly. How about you? Do you give presentations often?
Occasionally, especially during team meetings.
That makes sense.
That conversation feels very real, doesn't it?
Yes, it feels like something that could happen any day at work.
And notice how simple the language is. Short sentences, clear questions, natural reactions.
It doesn't sound like a textbook conversation.
Exactly. Real conversations are simple and human. Not perfect, not complicated, just real.
I think that idea is very encouraging for learners.
I agree, because confidence grows when we remove unnecessary pressure. You don't need perfect grammar, you don't need advanced vocabulary, you only need 3 things: curiosity, kindness, and willingness to continue the conversation.
Curiosity, kindness, and willingness. I like that combination.
Let's imagine one final small moment. You're leaving a conversation. Ending a conversation politely is also an important skill.
Yes, sometimes I don't know how to end conversations naturally.
Here are a few simple phrases. It was really nice talking with you.
That sounds polite.
You can also say, I'm glad we had the chance to chat.
I like that one.
Or if you need to leave, I should get going, but it was great meeting you.
That feels very natural.
Let's try a short example. Imagine we're ending our meetup conversation.
Okay.
Well, Miles, it was really nice talking with you.
It was nice talking to you too. I hope we see each other at another event.
Yes, that would be great. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Too.
That ending feels comfortable, not awkward.
Exactly. Good conversations also have gentle endings.
You know, at the beginning of this episode, I said something. My brain often stops after 1 or 2 sentences.
Yes, I remember that.
Now I realize something. My brain didn't stop because I didn't know English. It stopped because I didn't know conversation strategies.
That's a powerful realization.
Now I see that conversations are built from small actions. Ask a question, react, share a little, ask again.
Exactly. Conversation is a rhythm, and once you learn the rhythm, speaking becomes much easier.
I feel much more confident already.
That's wonderful to hear. And to everyone listening today, remember this. Confidence does not appear suddenly. It grows little by little. Every small conversation is progress. Every question you ask builds your skill. Every moment of curiosity creates connection.
And mistakes are okay.
Absolutely. Mistakes are part of learning. In fact, mistakes mean you are brave enough to speak.
That's a nice way to think about it.
Before we finish today, I'd like to leave you with a simple challenge. The next time you speak English with someone, try just one thing. Ask one extra question. That single question can open a whole new conversation.
I'm going to try that myself.
And remember, every conversation is an opportunity to connect, to learn, and to grow more confident in your English. Thank you for spending this time with us today.
Yes, thank you for listening.
And we're very glad you joined us here on Speak English Confident. Keep practicing, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep talking.